So good midday to you. It is St. Patrick's Day. It is the 17th of March. Hello. How are you? Everybody okay? Fantastic. That is great. So, today is the last day of the show as it stands in its current format. We are going to Fridays only after this week. So, this Friday's show is going to be the new format. As such, it's exciting. I'm saying format. It's the same thing with the title slightly changed. It makes no difference. It does make a difference because we're just on a Friday. So this is the last Wednesday show. Okay, that's all right. We can handle it. Just take a deep breath. We'll get through it. Maybe a short one today. Let's just see how we go because we got the Fridays could be extended a little bit, but it's all good. We're still here on a Friday from this Friday. Anyway, this is the headlines. So as we speak, actually, we've not had the press release or any details of it, but the EU are announcing their vaccine passports, which we'll try and get some information on before we close the show today. So let's do the main points, which have already on the system. All over 50s, woohoo, invited for a COVID jab in England. This is the final group on the priority list, which covers 99% of the at-risk of dying from COVID group. That's a nasty group, isn't it? But anyway, so over 50s, if you're over 50 and you haven't had a call, you had a notification, get on the phone to your doctors and or wherever and let's get it sorted. Let's get jabbed because the over 50s are the ones that can die. Now, I had mine a couple of weeks back because of different circumstances and it's all fine, it's all good. I have done maybe I was bad taste. I did do a TikTok joke today, which was a joke on the COVID jab. Nothing bad. It was clearly a joke, and there's a joke bit at the end. That's how a joke forms. Anyway, so have a look at that on TikTok. I don't know what I'm saying that for. Cummings Health Department smoking ruin on COVID. The Prime Minister's former aide criticises the department over PPE and the procurement at the start of the pandemic. Isn't he big boots, eh? I nearly said something else then. Man 50 arrested over Barrymore pool death. Remember that back in 2001? The man is being held after the death of Stuart Lubbock at the presenter's home in 2001. So I remember that happening, and it's like 20 years ago. And I clearly remember that happening, and it was quite shocking because that was, unfortunately, it was the sad death of Stuart Lubbock, but also it was the death of Michael Barrymore's career. Even though he had nothing directly to do with it, it was in his house where there was the Stuart was found, but that was the end of his career, unfortunately. Former Top Gear presenter Sabine Schmitz, this is sad, dies at the age of 51. The former racing driver, she was famous for being the only woman to win the Nürburgring 24 hours race, and watched her many a time on Top Gear, and I'm shocked at that. I really am. It's very sad, but this has happened, and there's lots. If you go on Twitter, there's lots of tributes to her, which is excellent. Right, let's see who we have in today. They're all popping up now. Look. We have Darren. Hello, Darren.
Good day.
Good day to you. And we've got Grant.
Grant.
In his office.
Good day.
How are we doing, guys?
How you
Looks
doing?
like your internet's improved.
Is it?
Yeah, you're not pixelated today.
Yeah, it was
I'm not usually pixelated, am I?
It was a bit rough last time you were on from your office.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
But it's better today. It's much better, nice and clear. Oh, you got a lanyard on as well.
I have. Yeah, it's my dog tag, and it keeps me getting in the office and out the office.
Excellent. Okay. So as I was saying, this is the last of the current format of this show. We are going to Fridays. Grant, I don't know if you were aware. We're just going to Fridays from after this week because of everybody's so busy and everybody's not going out yet. Not supposed to be going out yet, but it's becoming quite busy, and getting people on the show is difficult. So we're going to move to Fridays. We've got a slightly extended show. I've got plans for Fridays, so it's going to be fun. Change the titles today, so that'll be all good. So at the moment, I don't know if you've been kept up with the news. Literally 5 minutes ago, the EU just made a press conference about their COVID vaccine passports. Now, this will be... Grant, are you going to France this summer?
Hopefully in very end of July.
Okay.
But who knows at the moment?
Well, that's right. That's true. Have you had... You haven't had your jab yet? No? Okay. And how old are you? Sorry if I'm asking all the questions. Grant,
29, mate.
Okay, well, you've got a long wait then. A long way.
I'm 48.
You're 48. You're still below that limit, aren't you? That's the problem. So I don't know how this is going to work, because they're saying you're going to have this vaccine passport to travel to EU countries. But if you haven't had it, then you can't. I'm perplexed. I am perplexed. But it's a good thing. Is it a good thing or a bad thing, Darren?
I honestly I don't know, to be honest. It's like if you go to Mexico and you have to have your malaria and all that sort of good stuff, but it's not dictatorial. It's recommended. Yeah. I don't think I can't remember providing anything when I went to Mexico to prove that I had all the injections you should have. I just had them because you're supposed to have them if you go to them countries. And to say that you have to have it, it's really difficult. It really is difficult. I think from a freedom point of view, it's not good. To tell somebody you have to have a vaccine that is not proven as robustly as other vaccines have been in the past. Not saying it's not robust, not saying it's not proven, but not as robustly as others. To then say, well, without it you can't travel. It's a tough. I had mine yesterday. So
you had yours?
Yeah, I had mine yesterday.
How are you feeling?
I'm absolutely fine. It's not too bad at all. No, I'm all good. I think I've come out of it well.
Did you have the Astra one or the Pfizer?
Oh, I have to. Have I got the document? Have you ever read the ingredients? Have you ever read the ingredients?
No, we don't want to go down that road.
Oh, they're hilarious. Chimpanzee.
What?
Chimpanzee. That's the first start of it. I've got to find the document, but it is quite hilarious.
Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee. You stuck a chimpanzee in your arm. I'll find it in a minute. But human embryonic kidney. This is.
Hang on, is this legit?
Yeah, absolutely 100% legit. I'll go and find it in a second. I'll read it out. But regardless, if we read any sort of vaccination, I'm sure they all sound absolutely horrific, and regardless, I had it, and it was done brilliantly, and where the whole process was just incredibly amazing. Really happy people. Royal Marines, Royal Navy did it. So yeah, they was just a really good experience.
Did you like bananas? Did you like bananas before the jab?
Who me?
There you go. That's good. Well, I think it's important with the passports. It's going to help everything open up for business, especially the travel industry. I'm not sure how strict it is, because it literally was. They were just announcing it as we were coming on air. And there's nothing on none of the news channels yet with the breakdown of information. So I'm not sure how strict it is if you can't go to these countries without this passport, or you can, or it's just we're gonna have to wait to find out. But for business wise, it's gonna have to open everything up. It's the way forward for everything, isn't it?
If I'm honest, sorry, Grant, I can see you want to come in. If I'm honest, the only way it can work for a passport, in my view, is that if you've got a passport, maybe you fast track, and if you haven't got a passport, maybe you have to have a test. So I can see that it might have some dependencies and positives. I can't see them having to say you can't come here unless you've had it. I think that would be really hard. What they could say is you can come here if you've got a COVID passport straight through, like showing a passport. If you haven't, then you're going to have to show a proven test within 24 hours that you haven't got COVID, or you're going to have to isolate, or some other sort of caveat. That's the only way I can see it working.
Well, otherwise, if they don't get the vaccine out to everybody, including Grant, because it's all going to be old people going out to Ibiza this year.
Absolutely.
That's going to give a different feel to the clubs there.
Slightly more subdued atmosphere in Ibiza.
Yeah. Well, yeah, be as old as the DJs that actually play out there. That's the thing. But it's going to be. It'll be interesting to see if that's how strict they're going to be. I wish they'd send some. I'm just checking. Let me just refresh the BBC News.
I mean, the likelihood is they're going to make you quarantine, aren't they? If you haven't got a passport,
it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
But I mean, I've just talked to somebody this morning who was saying that haven't Europe just stopped doing the AstraZeneca jabs because they've got concerns over blood clotting or something?
Well, no, they're spinning it the other way now, aren't they? So I think it's just this morning they're looking to spin that back. France and Germany, was it? Or there was two, France and Italy, I think it was, that are now sort of rescinding that and going, no, it's okay now. So they're just waiting for that to complete. But they did stop it. But again, it's just misinformation, isn't it? And the amount of blood clots is the same amount that would normally happen for that population.
Right.
In fact, it's less than would normally happen for that population. So there is at this moment no physical evidence that ties the two together. But
no, it's
cautionary.
It sounds like there's some sort of political agenda there, doesn't it?
I do feel. I was just wondering whether to say that then.
As they said on TV this morning, they're actually putting their, rather than saving their population, they're putting their population at risk by having them. If there is no real tie, by slowing down or stopping your rollout of one of the cheapest and most available vaccines because of something so speculated.
The head of the EU when she just did a thing about the digital passports was talking about the vaccines, and they've ran out of the AstraZeneca vaccine anyway. They're now bringing in the Johnson & Johnson one, which is a one jab. I know. It's just Johnson & Johnson. Well, they made baby powder. Johnson's baby powder.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, they've invented or created a one jab vaccination. So Europe have gone with that. So it feels like a bit of bad taste. It's the saying that, oh well, we don't use the AstraZeneca one because it's bad for you and it's made in the UK and Belgium, and I just feel it's a bit proddy. I know. My
only concern is it's made in Liverpool, but
it's not just in Liverpool.
Okay.
There's 3 sites in the UK. It's made. Okay. Okay, so that's the passport then. Even though there was no information at all. Grant, did you? I'm just going to move on to something completely different topic now. Obviously, you are an avid viewer of Top Gear, hopefully. And did you know that the racing driver Sabine Schmitz, who's actually passed away this morning, were you aware of her? Because I know you were involved in
Sabine Schmitz.
Yeah, she's.
No, I didn't. That's news to me. What's happened?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't know because I'm sure she was on Top Gear last year.
She was, yeah.
And she's passed away from cancer, unfortunately, at the age of 51.
A long fight, apparently.
Yeah. And everybody's been. It's only been announced in the past hour, and Twitter's been going mad with it, and everybody's saying how sad it is. And I thought she was great. Yeah, it's just. Yeah.
That's really sad.
She was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, because she. I mean, they obviously she won the Nuremberg ring race, 24-hour race, but then it was that episode of Top Gear when she took the old Top Gear crew round there and just smashed them to bits and just smashed the times and everything.
Yeah, she did loads of stuff. She was such a talented driver, particularly around Nuremberg. She lived there, didn't she? And she spent all of her time going around. I didn't know that. That's really sad because she was really good fun, and that's sad. That is.
It is. It's very sad, actually.
Just Top Gear for me. Matt, and I suppose if you was a kid now, or if you could say what was the one job you'd want to do in the world, you might be an astronaut. I dare say Grant might be an F1 driver. For me, I'd be a Top Gear presenter because I always remember Richard Hammond, and he made a comment saying he was launching a metro into space. He was trying to rocket
on the rocket.
Metro. Yeah. And he said, we are at the cutting edge of cocking around. And it was just literally, it has to be by far the best job in the world. And it's just, I'd rather be that than an astronaut or an F1 driver because you just get the chance to do whatever you like in whatever you like. And it just looks so much fun. It's a big boys show, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's definitely.
The great thing about it is you get loads of opportunities to destroy caravans.
Always had caravans. But this new crew, obviously Clarkson left, and then they had that very strange period of getting different presenters in and stuff like that, and it was that was rubbish. But the new crew now, and it's moved to BBC One obviously as well at 8 o'clock. I think it's great. I think it's just as good now.
They've nailed it. They have nailed it.
It's the same formula, though. If you notice, the formula is the same as the Clarkson formula, and it's fun. There's a chemistry. They kept the racing driver, which is good. I think he's funny. And Flintoff, who'd have thought?
We can't remember the names. We've got Flintoff.
Chris Harris.
Chris Harris, Flintoff, and Paddy McGuinness. And who'd have thought that Flintoff would be so funny? But it is. They are, and the guy is just fearless, utterly fearless as well.
And
it's brilliant. Yeah, it's just brilliant. It's to read. They've got that formula back, and it's working. The only thing is no one can understand them because of their regional dialect. But other than that, it's all right.
Well, I'm fine with it. It's all right.
No, I'm on about it's the biggest car show in the world. Yeah,
of course it is. That's right.
So,
is it started again? I missed it. It was on Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it started on Sunday again.
I didn't watch it actually, so I need to catch up on that.
They do their production for the BBC is weird because they do 2 seasons a year, but they're very short seasons. And obviously that we understand that COVID's gone through, but their production levels are much tighter. So they have to do 2 segments a year, which is weird. I think there's only 6 episodes in each one, isn't there? Or something.
But well, here's a thing for you, Matt. Tina Bullock. Tina Bullock. You know Tina Bullock. You're married to her.
I know Tina Bullock. Yeah.
Tina Smallwood.
Yes.
She's married to Phil Petrowski, who is the cameraman on Top Gear. He does all the camera work on Top Gear and has done for many, many years. He's also the person who had the affair with Ulrika Johnson many, many years ago.
Oh, not during while he was married to Tina.
No, not while he was with Tina. But yeah, so he does all. He's so Pete and Mark and all them have been to the Top Gear studios, and they get freebies and stuff. Yeah.
Wasn't the wedding I went to, was it?
Tina, yeah, it would have been Phil's. Yeah,
she's only been married once. I think.
Once,
sorry, Grant.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's just Grant would be happy if there's any thought of freebies to get on the Top Gear show. Then I'm sure that Grant would be happy to discuss it.
So I actually went to that wedding. Yeah, well, you were there as well, weren't you? So that's
No, I couldn't go. I can't remember who it was. No, I was invited. I couldn't go.
I'm fairly sure I went to it. It's a long time ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
There you go, Top Gear. Great
marriage. That's lovely. Right, we're going to do a little bit of business stuff now because we're with everything opening back up again. I just want to give a little round robin type of thing where we think we are. I mean, Darren, you're obviously preparing now to open up. Anything changed in the past week or so with you?
I'm just now in the world of solicitors. I have to say, I think they're one of my most hated business partners are solicitors. I just find it's still an old men's club. So I'm back and forwards discussing contracts and license agreements and all that good stuff at the moment, and it's so painful. And different sites have different requirements. So, for instance, I have a contract I have drawn up, which is really basic, which some go with. We have a lease agreement with others, and then a license agreement with others. But I just find that whole process really painful. So I'm going through that pain at the moment. And also, my other issue is containers, because COVID has just absolutely annihilated the ability to get hold of containers. So we have an office container and a storage container on each site, which we dress up in camo and all that sort of stuff. Right. And they're like gold dust, absolute gold dust. So yeah, we're rushing to get open for the 12.
Why is that?
If you go to any of these COVID places now, they've got rows and rows of container offices that have had to pop up really quickly. They're also using them in some of the hospitals. They're also using them for the COVID storage to store the vaccines in. They're just, and also you've got stockpiling because of Brexit as well, which is taking up container space. So yeah, they're just.
How much is a container then? Do you rent it?
Container, yeah, no. A container to buy is about $5,000 for a small office container, but we always start up renting them because we never know how successful the site's going to be with a view to buy them. But so a small, if you have a small 12-foot a small 12-foot office and a small 12-foot storage container, they're about £200 a month to rent. Okay. So. Which is viable for us because, like I say, we never know how successful the site's going to be to a year.
Are they warm though? Surely, or are they?
The office containers are. Yeah, the office containers are like walking into a little office. They're double glazed. They've got heating in. They've got LED lighting in. They're pretty pleasant, cool. To be honest. Yeah, look horrible on the outside, nice on the inside.
Yeah, I gotta say horrible on the outside. So, Grant, how's things going for you? Is it busy? Obviously, it's been steadily all the way through COVID. But
yeah, I mean,
are we seeing a turn?
I don't think we've seen a turn. So we haven't, I measure everything by the sort of the leads, and then also website sales is a good kind of barometer for us. And it's just steady. I'm anticipating that there is going to be a spike because as people start to, we've got to remember this kind of way that we're opening up, this transition is really slow and drawn out. If we'd have just said, right, okay, we're out of lockdown, everything's back to normal, we did before, we did see a spike, because it's like the bounce back. That's businesses right. Are like a coiled spring, aren't they? they're ready to go. But because we've got this sort of slow opening up, I'm anticipating that we're going to see it in drips and drabs. But yeah, it's been steady and busy for us for the last year. Our business has grown, and it's kind of it's difficult to put your finger on it, isn't it? What would have happened? Would it have been if we hadn't have gone through the pandemic? Would that have happened anyway? Yeah. Would it have grown more? My suspicion is that it probably would have done. I think because what we found is throughout lockdown, having spoken to such a wide variety of different businesses, we do websites for anybody, and we do websites for people all over the world. So you get a real sense of what's going on, and it's just been a steady sort of growth for us. That I think. I tell you what I've been talking a lot about, because this was making my brain think really about trying to analyze, what's going to happen. We all wish we had a crystal ball, don't we, so that we could, we can say, right, what's coming next. And my feeling is that we're going to see a nice bit of expansion throughout the summer as confidence returns. Because with us, we've had to work harder to get people to make decisions. So throughout lockdown, people are worried. They're second guessing themselves more because they don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
So if we continue with the same sort of activity levels, and I imagine this happens in loads of different businesses, as things start to open up and people become less sort of fearful of making a decision, I anticipate the business growing again. So if we continue with the same amount of activity, sales will increase because people won't take as long to make a decision because they'll have more confidence. And that's really what the economy is all about. It's confidence. If people feel confident, they'll spend money. And we all know there's loads and loads of money sat in people's bank accounts right now.
Yeah.
The question is, when are they going to feel confident to spend it?
I think the most important thing I would say is planning. Because I don't think don't wait for it to all come back and open. I mean, I think not spend any money, but at least plan something. I think that's vitally important. Speak to people like yourself, Grant, and it's to plan something moving forward. So you're not just worrying about it and catching up when all the doors open, because there'll be other people planning. There'll be people planning ahead of you. So if you've got something, if you're ready to open up, plan something now. Just ready for the next few weeks, because I think it's vitally important.
When's the best time to plant a tree?
At the beginning? No, what?
10 years ago.
Oh, 10 years
10
ago.
years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree?
Go on.
Right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, I see that. But you got to wait 10 years for it to.
I'll tell you a quick story, guys. So this kind of influenced the way I reacted. Just over a year ago within lockdown. Back in 2008, 2009, I had my digital marketing agency, and we went into, and it was kind of the first time I'd experienced a recession. And a lot of my business people that were my clients back then were bigger businesses. And as we went into that financial meltdown, and it happened over a sort of period of a few months, you'll probably remember it, you guys.
Yeah.
The banks started going bust. Everybody talks about this massive economic depression, and fear was everywhere because the housing market collapsed, and the whole thing was just very scary. All of my clients, my big clients, so people like Halfords and Vodafone and Vax Vacuums, these were my clients at the time, massively reduced their marketing budgets because their revenue went down because fear. Everybody, even though at the beginning of the recession, it wasn't like everybody was earning less, or it was, the recession was kicking off and it was hitting certain industries, and it was hitting the housing industry, mortgages first. But people saw the zeitgeist and they let fear dictate to them, oh my God, what's coming? They stopped spending, and then the knock-on effect was other industries started to contract. And so for me as a business, I had a handful of clients, and all of a sudden they stopped spending money with me. And I was in a position where, my revenue just reduced through no fault of my own. The business model was the same. It's just that my target audience stopped spending money because they were fearful as well. And a guy came to me during this period. I ran a business that sold sort of widgets and bits and bobs. And we used to do all of his leaflets and marketing for him. And he'd been in business a long time. And he said to me, he said, Grant, what I want to do is I want to double my marketing spend with you. And I'm like, blooming hell, Martin, that's brilliant news. You know, this is going to save my bacon. But why? Why do you want to do that? And he says, well, I've been in business a long time. I've been through 2 recessions prior to this. And what I know is every single time we go into a recession, the same thing happens. My competition will reduce their marketing spend. They'll hunker down and they'll wait for it to pass. What I'm going to do is double my marketing spend. I'm going to mop up all their customers. And when we come out of this, and we will, I'm going to be wiping the floor with them. And that's what he did. He doubled his marketing spend. He mopped it all up. And then within a couple of years, he'd retired. He'd smashed his targets because his experience told him that fear was going to make his competition retract. Let fear rule. He knew that he was strong enough to make it through the recession, to double his marketing spend, to get all those people to know about him and understand, you know, what he does. And even though they weren't spending much, he got them as clients. And that's what people should be thinking about right now. Your competition are prepping. They're waiting for all these people to start spending again. And they're doing their marketing now so that these people know about them. And when they start spending, they're going to be thinking of the people that are marketing now, not the ones that are waiting.
Nice. That's great. That is, you know, it's a really good story, that is. I think.
Well, I had a couple of stockbroker friends who say exactly the same. Grant, it's all about confidence. The whole stock market runs on confidence, not on anything else. No real science. It's confidence. And that's what it's all about. And I agree. I think it's a good story.
People that feel
just done well since, you know, marketing with you, blessing. So,
and when we went into lockdown, you know, I remembered that, you know, and it was like, for me, I was like a bull at a gate, because I thought, right, we're going into a lockdown. This is going to be a recession smashed into a really small space of time. We have got to absolutely smash the life out of our marketing. You know, and that's what we did. You know, we upped everything. Cool. And the results, you know, are that we've grown the business a lot over the last 12 months.
Well, that was a good story to end on. Definitely. It's St. Patrick's Day today. Everybody, did anybody remember?
I forgot to get some Guinness.
I'm going to have to go and buy some Guinness now.
Yeah.
But obviously Guinness is advertising. If you're talking about advertising, I haven't seen anything about Guinness on the advert, which is weird. But anyway, so enjoy your pint of Guinness tonight, everybody. Right. That is it. We will see everybody for Friday, for the new Friday show. And that's it. Thanks a lot for joining us, Darren and Grant. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.